So because I set boundaries around my digital life and particularly on like the do not disturb profiles, I have replaced waking up in the morning and turning over onto my phone with a morning routine. And one of those parts of the morning routine is turning to my daily devotionals, as opposed to, getting into a scrolling fest or whatever the case may be. And that may not be the habit that you want to build, but being able to make time for those habits that you actually do want to implement into your life. And so, as you saw in the last story, I just read what my daily devotional was, and I just thought it was ironic. I thought, because not every devotional is talking about the ways that we're being distracted, but today was the day that I want to talk about being distracted and how, what does it say? It says, so many things vie for your attention in this complex world of instant communication. And I was just like, that's why I wanted to share that with y'all, because that's the case, and we know that. And so it leads us towards some verses to read in the Bible, and it goes to this very famous verse, of Luke 10:39 through 42, and it's the story where Jesus visits Martha and Mary, who are sisters. And so I'm sharing this with you because after reading it, after so many times, like I finally got it this time. I finally got it where I was like, oh, like that's what we're like ideally supposed to be doing to some extent, I feel like, for me. And it's because I haven't always operated out of that way. Let me just get to it. So it says, again, it's Luke 10:38 through 42. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet, listening to what he taught. And so reading that already is making me think, like, how can I don't know, when we were in elementary school, right? When we would go into the library and we would wait and listen for the librarian to read us a story. Like, that was the only time I really can think about, like, when I sat at someone's feet or, like, in the pit, and just, like, waiting for them and anticipating, like, the stories that they're going to tell me or that they're going to read to me. And it says, but Martha was distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come and help me. And that just made me realize, like, I don't know about you, but when you come from a POC family or BIPOC family, like, you get really into hosting, right? You get so into hosting that you miss the whole point of why you're putting the gathering together in the first place. Like, I know as a host myself, like, it's taking me a long time and a long practice to just, like, be in the presence of people, right? And to enjoy them. And I'm so grateful that I got that practice every Sunday during my last position, right? And so that part to me just kind of reminded me of how I used to plan my life. Like, I would get so caught up in all the details. I get so caught up in planning and having a planner and, like, all these things. And to be, like, fully transparent with y'all, like, I moved to San Diego because of a planner, you know what I mean? The company itself, and because of having a planner itself. And the reality was, it wasn't working. And I just got to a point where it's like I had no other choice to then sit at Jesus's feet. And so what that looks like to me is just to sit and be still and just, like, listen until I'm told what to do. I'm to the point where, like, I can't even, don't get me wrong, I try to plan for tomorrow and the week and whatever the case, but it's getting to the point where it feels so silly. so silly, because I can't even predict what's gonna happen in the day. Like, yeah, I can reflect my Google Calendar, but does it ever really go that way? But the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you were worried and upset over all these details. There's only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that because I was like, I think I got it. Like, I finally get this story where, and applying it to my life, someone who's always caught up in all the details, I'm at that point where I'm just like, what is the most important next step? And so that's something that is going to be implemented in our coaching sessions, and in our decluttering sessions, because I think we can get caught up in the details. I know for myself in the past, I was someone that had to see the big picture and get really granular with it, right? I mean, I remember even teaching a workshop on how to eat elephants, which is totally, still fair and valid. But what I'm practicing and experiencing now is, how can I be still and just listen to whatever it is that you believe in? But honestly, the source that has all of the answers, infinite intelligence. And just wait. Just wait patiently until it tells me what to do next. And so that's what I love about each session, is that we will talk about what is the most important next step. Even just saying those words out loud, right? Like, how many times you're in a session, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go finish this project. Okay, but what is the most important next step? And so it puts a priority on what it is that you need to do next, and so that there is no guesswork in that, right? So then when you do that, once you do that thing, you ask the question again, what is the most important next step? And then again, the most important next step. And then it's just one foot after another. But there has to be a moment of stillness in between. And so anyways, I just wanted to share this with all of you, because I was just like, whoa, like this is what's happening. And this is also the same for content. Like, I'm thinking about it, I kind of just listen, and if I feel some energy behind it, I'm like, okay, now's a good time to make some content, as opposed to following the algorithm wheel or whatever the case may be. I'm not sure, and so yeah, I'm not perfect at this practice, but it is something that is going to be implemented within our sessions. And I just wanted to share that with all of you, so that you can get an idea on how like momentum is built, and how we create these habits that allow us to be laser focused on what's most important, right? What's most important to us, what's most important to infinite intelligence, what's most important to the day. And knowing that that's really all that we have control over is the most important next step. So I just want to share that with all of you. Again, if you're interested in joining me this Saturday, the decluttering session, it's going to be from 12 to 2 p.m. I'm going to be working on, I already have the agenda laid out. So if you want more information on that, then you can DM me, but I am going to be posting it and creating something for all of you, so it's easier for you to synthesize and digest. But I hope you know that this is just a small step of showing up. It's just about showing up and tackling this digital clutter, so that you can find moments of stillness, so that you have clarity on what's most important to you. All right, y'all. I'll see you soon. See you Saturday.